What's up, everybody? We have a fresh article here from Yahoo Entertainment, and this one is titled, Ken Urker cuts live video short as Gypsy Rose Blanchard appears intoxicated on camera. Now, I'm pretty sure most of us have already seen this kind of thing, but let's see what kind of narrative the old tabloids kind of put out there. Let's see what, because keep in mind, Gypsy, and I believe also Christy, and maybe even Ken himself, all have these people on speed dial. Let's see how they twist this or sort of downplay this. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of that. So, moving on, let's check this out. So, it starts. Gypsy Rose Blanchard may have celebrated her first 4th of July off parole a little too hard. That's a little bit of an understatement. In a now viral live video, the 33-year-old, who might as well be a 16-year-old, who was released from prison late last year and recently completed her parole, if parole even had, held her. It's not like parole even mattered. She wasn't held accountable for anything. It's like parole might as well have been not even a thing. Might as well have been non-existent, because I don't even think they played a role in anything, and I don't think they even made her adhere to any of the rules. That's just my speculation, though. Or my common sense approach. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. Especially the whole reaching out to minors part. Yeah, that part, I'm surprised they didn't do anything about that. Appeared to be heavily intoxicated while speaking to fans. Fans. It's like, when I think fans, again, it's like, you're a fan of an actor and an actress. You're a fan of a band or a pop artist. You're a fan of somebody that's on a sports team or, plays like on college basketball. Who would be a fan of a murderer? Since when do they have fans? I understand there's like people with that hybristophilia problem. They have like this like obsession and they have this sort of like weirdness towards them. But like to actually say they have fans and actually put this out in some national tabloid like that, if we're gonna set that precedent and you can get fans by unaliving somebody, that's gonna influence some very vulnerable minds. So, anyways, enough about that. I've already made that point more than once. Moving on. Gypsy Rose Blanchard's other half, Ken Urker, who was with her during the live stream, didn't appear to be amused by her on-camera behavior. He doesn't appear to be amused by a lot, but again, he's got a non-disclosure agreement. Unfortunately, he can't talk, but once that NDA ends, I'm waiting for his tell-all book. I'll probably read it. Well, I'm not going to buy it and support him, but you want to know what? I'll bootleg it somehow. Gypsy Rose Blanchard appears intoxicated on live stream as Ken Urker tries to shut it down. No, he doesn't try. He actually does it, so just want to correct that. Anyways, let's keep this going. Okay, let's read more about Tipsy Gypsy here. I'm pretty sure I reached my limit, Gypsy said, slurring her words with a smile. But I'm going to continue to drink. Wow, what a great idea. Yeah, am I surprised? No, but I'm pretty impressed with her being so brazen like that. She's just like, yeah, I don't give an F. It's just like, I reached my limit, but I'm gonna keep going. To what point? Alcohol poisoning? Embarrassment to the point of like, I don't know, illegal intoxication to where maybe she's gonna go streaking in the middle of the street? I don't know. That's a pretty dangerous idea to be like, I reached my limit, but I'm going to continue to drink. It's just like, you would think there would be a limit on that. But again, I don't think someone like Gypsy Rose understands a thing called boundaries. And when it comes to alcohol, I'm pretty sure it applies there as well. So again, hey, at least she's telling the truth there. I 100% believe she's telling the truth there. You know what? I reached my limit, and I'm going to keep going. You know what? For once, I am inclined to agree, Gypsy. Anyways, to which Ken, with a visibly frustrated expression, responded, I'm glad that was all caught on tape. Yeah, you and me both, brother. And the rest of us content creators, because she is delivering the gold as far as content creating goes. So, you know what, Ken, I'm glad you're on our side when it comes to that. So, I give you props there. As Gypsy continued to ramble, or slur her words, or whatever you want to call it, Ken tried to bring the stream to an end, saying, all right, we're just going to call this a night. Okay, maybe he did. I thought he did successfully turn it off. Maybe he didn't. Let's keep reading. Gypsy, however, attempted to grab the phone, seemingly trying to stop him from cutting the live stream short, slurring, I'm super, no, before the video abruptly ended. Okay, so he did succeed in shutting it off. So I don't know where they came up with that Ken tried to stop the live stream. No, he actually stopped the live stream. The one that tried not stopping it was Gypsy. But I love how these like tabloids flip-flop all over the place, even when it comes to something simple like that. It's like, did the button get turned off? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, that means the live stream stopped. This is not hard. It's like whoever's like writing these articles, it's like, really? It's just like, you couldn't just say like, I can't with this. These are activists. These must be like interns of interns or something, because this is like horrible journalism. It's just like not even activism. It's just beyond that. It's just cringe on paper or online, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, moving on. Tik Tok users commented on the video claiming Ken is getting, quote, tired of her antics. Well, I could have told you that even before the parole was ended, and I'm pretty sure she was, even Ryan confirmed that this was not her first drink, when it comes to being off parole. She was glugging it down even beforehand. And I believe Ryan when it comes to stuff like that. But did parole care? No, because she was doing way worse stuff than that, and parole didn't care. So again, I like how she like saying, oh my God, I'm celebrating being off parole, when it's like, they weren't holding you accountable for anything anyways. So it's just like, what's there to celebrate from? Just, something that was supposed to be there to help hold you accountable but never did is now going away, and as if it makes a difference. It didn't make a difference. You still got to do whatever you wanted to anyway. So again, parole needs to be on parole more than Gypsy does. Or they both do. But again, it's just like, while Gypsy was on parole should have also been on parole, watching over them, making sure that they're supposed to be doing what they're doing, like holding someone accountable, but they weren't. So here we are. All right, and the way he said, I'm glad I got that all on camera, makes me think he's got a plan, when users speculated. Yep, maybe a tell-all, maybe he's trying to collect some data for Becca Scoops, perhaps? That would be a nice little plot twist, that he's been in touch with Becca, and he's going to be like, you know what, I'll get everything you need. It's like, I'll get every little drunken, sloppy moment I can possibly get. I'm sending it to you. That would be a great plot twist, and you know what, Ken, if you're doing that, I'm on board with you full swing. Like, bring it. Okay, he can't stand her, it's obvious, another wrote. Well, again, we've already reiterated that. I could have told you just from the lack of chemistry from the very beginning, and that, especially the timing with Ken coming back into the fold, where it's just like, she got to deal with Lifetime, just got this book coming out, and, Christy's kind of getting in touch with me. I could use the money because I'm just a part-time bartender, and I'm just a nobody, and, it's just like, yeah, no. Ken saw an opportunity in the form of this and in the form of clout, and he's just like, hey, Gypsy, how you doing? You still in that marriage? Yeah, you can go ahead and get rid of that now. I'm back. And yep, you got what he wanted. And it's again, I feel kind of sorry for Ryan that wasn't obvious from day one. As soon as she said that thing about the dream, like, I had a dream I left you for my ex, Ken. It's just like, as soon as I would have heard that, I'd been like, there was no dream. It's just like she was setting the precedent, or setting the idea that, hey, if this ever happens, I had a dream about it. You know what I mean? It's like, I think in a way she was kind of trying to like say that she had a premonition of what was to come. She was kind of giving him a warning in a way. It's like, I would have taken that warning completely to heart if I were ever dumb enough to want to be with somebody like Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Again, sorry, Ryan, sorry, but it's just like, at the end of the day, I'll never understand how you could be attracted to someone like her, even if you have all the confidence problems in the world. It's just like, how? With the millions of people on the planet, billions even, that you would really, like, just like Dr. Phil said, why, out of all the people in the world, would you choose someone like that? I'll never get it, and I think a lot of people won't. And the fact that he's still not really moving on, it's getting harder for me to like really feel sorry for him, because it's like, at this point, it's almost self-inflicted, because it's like he knows like how she has the ability to betray and to connive and to sneak around and to lie and to deceive and to twist the narratives around and gaslight. And even knowing all this, he's still sitting there waiting in the wings thinking that this is a Ken problem and not a Gypsy problem. And then he's just going to wait for, Ken to kind of leave the picture again. And then, she's going to go cry on his shoulder until the next trapeze bar shows up, which is, who knows how many men that she has in those DMs, like put into a little folder somewhere. She could just jump to whoever she wants. Because, I think Gypsy has demonstrated that she's the type of person that can't be alone. she does not have the strength or the wherewithal to be without male validation, or be without a man. It's like, and remember that one time she clapped back at Nina? It's like, last time I checked, you didn't even have a man. He wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's all she thinks about. It's like, Gypsy is basically thinking about money and men. Those are her two, biggest priorities in life. And she doesn't care who she has to hurt. She doesn't care, what damage she has to do in order to obtain those things. And she's demonstrated that pretty well since day one. But anyways, moving on. Going for the Karen haircut again. Remember that? She's always got these different little weirdo haircuts. It's like, go and check out the timeline for this past year. See how many different goofy haircuts that she's had. I think it's mostly just hair extensions and maybe doing the wig thing again. I don't know. She's always had this as the hair changes, the personalities change. But again, we have the Karen version right here. Anyways, back up at the top here, he's just gathering evidence so he can get custody, a third claim to referring to their newborn daughter, Aurora. I don't even think he would need that. I mean, that's helpful, yes. But if he takes Aurora to Texas, she would be pretty much dead to rights as far as custody goes, because I've said this in other videos, and I heard this from somebody that was in one of my lives, along with me and Cajun Jen, that basically said in the panel that Texas does not give convicted murderers any type of custody, not joint, sole, whatever. It's just she would be granted at best supervised visits at the state level, state supervised or state chosen. They would choose a family member to facilitate it. Either way, she would be pretty screwed if he establishes Aurora in Texas as a resident of Texas, and Gypsy would be pretty much dead to rights. So it's I don't even think the evidence would be needed, but you know what? It never hurts. He's been annoyed this whole time, and tonight you can feel how annoyed he is, LOL, a fourth observed. Yeah, this is stating pretty much the obvious. You got a sloppy, drunk girl that's got this really loud, obnoxious, baby, shrieking sounding voice that could cut through any glass from any distance away and shatter, the biggest glass house you could find. Yeah, I would say just being annoyed is quite the understatement. I still don't even know how anyone could be around that voice, even when she's just talking normally, let alone shrieking and go. I mean, did anyone? I'm sure you guys have all seen that little video with her and Bree and her with the two middle fingers, and just how loud that she's firing that voice off into the, stratosphere. It's oh my God. It's that voice could go for miles and scare away herds of sheep or something like that. I don't know. It's just again, just the voice. And that woman being drunk with that voice would be the stuff of the pure nightmare fuel. Pure nightmare fuel. That's all I got to say about that. So, feel annoyed? That'd be a feeling that's understatement. I would be absolutely gobsmacked if I was around that. So, again, I try to feel a little bit sorry for Ken, but he put himself in that situation. That's kind of the bed you made. Sleep in it. Well, you do have that other room that she made. You could always kick her out and just put her in that room if you want. I always say that master bedroom is his and Parker's. We won't know until that non-disclosure agreement is done for Ken. I'm waiting for that. I would like to hear his tell-all once him and the Gypinator completely, have a fallout. Maybe him and Ryan could write the book together. That would be worth reading. Now that's something I might buy. They could be the co-writers of this, and they can both spill the tea on both ends. It's first half for Ryan, second half for Ken. Boy, that would be something. Would you buy it? I sure would. Moving right along. Days after completing her parole, Gypsy Rose Blanchard reclaimed her narrative via social media. The 33-year-old, who became a household name following the shocking murder of her abusive mother, whatever, Dee Dee Blanchard, spoke out in what she calls her, quote, boldest statement yet. She's had quite a few of them. Let's see what her version of the most bold is. Gypsy's Instagram post titled, Breaking My Silence. As I said in the other tabloid, breaking her silence. This is a woman that doesn't shut up. It's just what silence is there to break when she just constantly blabs and blabs and blabs and blabs and doesn't stop? Even when she says she's going away for a while. She's back in hours. So there's no silent. Oh wait, maybe breaking her silence in the last 5 minutes. It's like I've shut up for 5 minutes and now I'm breaking my silence. Oh boy. It's a deeply personal reflection on the life-altering choices that led her to where she is today. In the emotional video, she addressed her past head-on. I'm pretty sure she did to whatever, downplays it to her liking, while asking the public to allow her space to heal, grow, and move forward. Well, it's kind of hard to ask for space when you're putting your entire life and every embarrassing move that you make right on social media for the world to see, with 9.5 million people spectating it. So yeah, you want this space, but at the same time, you're craving this attention with some of the most immature, erratic behavior that I think all of us have ever seen. And then you wonder why people talk about you. If you truly want space, get off social media. At least Casey Anthony is repulsive as she is. At least she had enough wherewithal to know, like, you know what? I'm not going where I'm not wanted. She even tried to come back on a TikTok right when Gypsy was starting to do it. It was like, well, if Gypsy can do it, then so can I. She's like, oh, how wrong she was with that. She's like, Yep, she disappeared right back into the ether just as fast as she tried to commit. So, yeah, if she wants to be left alone, how about just go away? Pretty simple stuff, Gypsy. This isn't genius level stuff. I have carried that guilt for years. Yeah, sure you have. Is that why you, to this day, still basically villainize Nicholas Godejohn, who, according to your narrative, should be the hero in your story? Shouldn't he? Didn't he save you from this lifetime of ABUSE, from this evil woman, according to that one little Rapunzel post you had not too long ago, and, freed you up from this horrible person so you can live the life you've always wanted? Yeah, I'm sure you feel really guilty about that, she admitted. But rather than dwell in shame, she's choosing a path of clarity, peace, and self-forgiveness. It's like, yeah, I don't think you can appoint yourself forgiveness like that. It's just like, if you ever wanted forgiveness, you would take proper accountability. You would address that, Nick was the hero in the situation. You would actually try to advocate for him in some way, and wouldn't make this entire thing, and you wouldn't be making all this blood money off of the back of your mom with your sidekick, Christy, and whoever else. It's like every action you make and every dollar you make that you're still grifting for is off the back of your crime. And usually the son of Sam law, which most states have, which unfortunately yours doesn't, usually prevents stuff like this. But again, this is another part of our justice system that's absolutely embarrassing, and you are the poster girl for it. So once again, it is what it is, and hopefully this can be changed very soon. It's going to take a lot of public outcry and a lot of political pressure in the opposite direction, the same direction that put her as a victim in the first place, to flip it onto its head and expose her. The same people that made her a victim need to expose her and say, hey, we were wrong about this. Here's who this person really is. And anyways, right below it says, Gypsy Rose Blanchard honors Dee Dee's 10th death anniversary. Again, on that anniversary, she put up this Rapunzel post that her mother was a, quote, evil woman. How is that honoring her mom? Again, no self-awareness, and plus this tabloid is just lying at this point. But who knows, they're probably just getting this from Gypsy herself, and they don't fact check anything. Yep, that's a thing called, what's that word? Propaganda. On June 9th, the 33-year-old took to Instagram with an emotional post marking two deeply personal milestones, one of life and one of loss. In the touching upload, Gypsy shared a photo of herself and her Ken. You mean and Ken? Her Ken, as if he's an object or something, at the hospital, proudly holding up a set of sonogram images. The moment, captured 1 year prior, was when they first saw their daughter, Aurora, on screen. The couple appeared overjoyed in the throwback photo. Okay. One day, two meanings, Gypsy wrote in the caption. 1 year ago, we saw Aurora for the first time in the sonogram, and my heart has never been the same. Okay, so she's just reiterating a sonogram photo, hip hip hooray. Yes, the baby's been born. We know she exists. I believe this is the last of this embarrassment. Now a doting mom to 6-month-old Aurora. Doting. Where is she, by the way? Since parole ended, we haven't seen anything of Aurora. At least not that I've seen. I think the last time I saw her, she was not even buckled into her seatbelt in the car. But sure, yeah, very dutiful. Blanchard described her daughter as her light, joy, and greatest blessing. Yeah, probably because it's something that, keeps Ken around. But the day of that sonogram, June 9th, also holds another, much darker significance for the former convict. And you want to know what? If the crime really took place on June 9th, that kind of exonerates Nick, doesn't it? If the crime really happened on that day, because I believe he didn't get there, according to the text messages, until after midnight, which would make that the 10th. But I remember she rushed over to whichever, the Wikipedia page or wherever that was listed, and rushed it over to the whichever it was. I remember she had to go and change that really quick. But yeah, it's 10 years since the death of my mother, Gypsy continued. A woman known not for love, but for the ABUSE inflicted on me. Again, so it's how is this honoring her by just calling her this abusive, evil person once again? It's just they said she was honoring her on the last page, and now she's just calling her an abuser all over again when there's been no evidence of this at all. Nope. In fact, I think the only evidence I've seen is the opposite. Didn't Gypsy take a pew-pew that she thought was real and fire it at her mom 10 times? And she's like, oh my God, thank God it was a BB pew-pew. But she thought it was real. But then on the Kale podcast, she's like, no. I knew it was a BB one the whole time. I love when she walks back and stuff like that. But, it's if you actually really look at the evidence, the only evidence that I see outside of Gypsy's words is basically, that pew-pew thing. Because, she did have to get the, Dee Dee, of course, jumped in front of the bus for her to protect her again by saying that they were robbed in a Walmart parking lot. She should have filed the charges against Gypsy right there. That would have done something nice, but again, that would have kind of revealed the grift. Unfortunately, I think Dee Dee's biggest crime was loving her daughter a little bit too much to the point she was willing to break the law. And that just kind of shows you that, you better teach your kids about self-awareness and you better teach them about accountability. Otherwise, you're going to end up with another Gypsy Rose. Anyway, Gypsy served 8 years of a 10-year prison sentence for second-degree murder and was released on parole in December 2023. Now, with her past behind her and a new life in front of her, she's continuing to balance reflection with renewal and maybe some drinks along the way. Maybe some drinks. No, there's been definitely some drinks, not along the way, but before, during, and after the whole thing. And her affinity for that bottle has been quite apparent. I think season 3 is going to be a rehab edition, because I'm pretty sure, by all things I'm hearing, a season 3, especially with the NDA still in place, a season 3 is going to be happening. But I think it's going to turn into an episode of Intervention in no time. What do you guys think, though? I don't know. It's again, the way she's acting, it's I didn't even act like this in my early 20s. Sure, I partied. Sure, I was in the music industry and it was a party atmosphere, but what she's doing and how smashed that she's getting every night, I didn't do that. I would have some drinks here and there. I would do things socially, but it's just and then not only is she doing this, but she's underestimating how big her audience is when she does those lives and puts out those pictures and all the videos and all the nasty stuff that her and Bree are talking about and just whatever. It's just yeah, don't do that. There's 9.5 million people in your in your realm on TikTok, whether you're monetized or not. It's just all you're doing is embarrassing yourself. But you want to know what? Go for it. Keep doing it. It's giving us content creators all the gold in the world to work with. So I can't exactly fault you for that. I can't exactly tell you to stop that, other than stop it for the child's sake and maybe for your sake. But if you insist on doing it, go right ahead. I'm going to cover it. So is everybody else. You say you want to be left alone in this article and you just want to have all this peace and everything else, but it's just here you are acting like a complete drunken, belligerent idiot in front of 9.5 million people. And you're surprised people are going to talk about you. No self-awareness. None. But in case you're wondering why people talk about you, Gypsy, it's not that hard to figure out. It really isn't. It's very simple. Just step outside the box a little bit. But I don't think she can. I think it's just unless you see it her way, you're a hater. You're the enemy. It's all we are is after the truth, and all we are is concerned for that child. And when we see a mom in her 30s, going on mid-30s, acting this way, yeah, it's a little bit alarming. So again, my biggest concern about this is Aurora. If Gypsy wants to self-destruct, I hope she does it on her own and it doesn't have any collateral damage on anybody else. So that's all I have to say about that. Well, that was an interesting one. And once again, just like all the other ones that I've read, all the narratives just kind of flip flop all over the place. Gypsy wants to be left alone. Then again, she wants to act like a belligerent drunk right on camera. You know, same thing when it's just like, oh, the billboard might as well have been in Iowa, but then 10 minutes later, she's right in front of the thing, right at the French Quarter. So it's just like, you know, you can never take what she says seriously. It's like you either have to take it as opposite or take it in stride, or, you know, a half truth with lies mixed in with it, or lies mixed with the truth. Again, never take anything Gypsy says. And you know what's great about her? She tells on herself. She's always outing herself. You don't even need to find anyone to expose her or have paparazzi or anything. Like, I remember, who was it, her or Christy, that said, thank you for watching our every move. Or I think it was Ken's profile with Gypsy talking from his profile. That's exactly what she's doing, by the way. Like, thank you for watching our every move. What do you mean watching your every move? You're recording yourself and putting it on your profile. That's nobody watching your every move. That's you putting out the content yourself for us to watch. Who's following you? Nobody. You're doing this yourself. But you want to know what? Again, I just love the lack of self-awareness. It kind of makes it more funny, yet sad at the same time, because there's a child involved in this. If it was just her, it would be mostly funny. But, you know, now there's a child involved. Aurora's always going to be my number one concern, because she is an innocent party in this. And even the dogs, even Parker and Pixie, it's just like, I think Parker's in pretty good hands, because of the chemistry between Ken and Parker is like something like very romantic to me. It's way more romantic than him and Gypsy. That's for dang sure. Especially after watching a little rose petal thing get thrown out of his face. It's like, wow, how romantic that was. But anyways, what did you guys think about this article? And I'm sorry about all the bantering, and I'm sorry about all the rants that I do during that, but that's kind of why I read them, because I want to opine on them and kind of call them out. But, you know, I'm waiting for the day that mainstream media takes her narrative and flips it on its head, and that's why we're going to continue to be covering stuff like this and calling it all out. But you guys have any thoughts on this? Leave it in the comments.